Let me give an example. Thank God for men who taught us during the COVID period. Thank God. Because if there was one thing that confused the church, it was the absence of what some people would call the teaching priest. Or let me say it this way, it was the absence of a prophetic teacher. I'm not saying there was none, I'm saying there were few. There were few local churches that were prepared. There were few local churches that were prepared for COVID and what happened during COVID. And that's why that event shook the church. Some churches were closed down. People that were called by the name Christians, they died. People, I'm not saying vaccines are bad, but people rushed to take vaccine out of fear of different things, fear of death, fear to lose their job. I want to tell you even now on this meeting, that was like a dress rehearsal. I took the vaccine. I took that vaccine. I took it. So you don't think I'm making you feel it. I took it. I took 3 doses. Why did I take it? I wanted to come abroad. So let's just assume that vaccine, I'm not saying it is. I'm just giving let's assume that if that vaccine was the mark of the beast, I've collected the mark of it like that. Oh, the mercy of God. God was merciful to us. And we thank God. We are compassionate on the many that lost their life. And we thank God we are alive. But see, brethren, you know what Christ said? In the beginning, it was not so. Brethren, these things ought not to be so. Those who are named with Christ ought not to go through exactly the same things that the world is going. There ought to be a difference. It ought to be evident that the seal of God is upon us, and that's the Holy Spirit. Those who have the Holy Spirit on them is support. The difference should be clear. I know that verse in that chapter in Revelation that talks about how there was going to a judgment or whatever was going to be released. But it says, touch not the oil and the wine, touch not those that have the seal of God. They are those who have the seal of God, which is the Holy Spirit, that down payment for our inheritance, that are not supposed to experience what the world is going. And let me even go a bit deeper. That is a form of rapture.